Hello, everybody. I'm live. This is Hercules, and I'm here today to assist anybody who wants some answers to some questions about um, their soul journey. And I'm also I'm going to be giving out general information, and I'll be using tarot cards. Uh, Only because it's like a card catalog system to access. Because I got to know what to access. It's like we don't pay attention to everything in lower dimensions. We focus in on things. So that's basically how it works. So I'm using this Galaxy Tarot. It has keywords in it, and I can just focus in on keywords as general topics. And so for the purpose of this live stream, I'm going to be talking about the major arcana or arcana uh, of tarot cards. And right now, I picked the card, the Fool. So I'm going to give you just what my soul wants to put out as far as this card, the Fool, and its key words, which are possibility, beginnings, trust, innocence, playfulness. And it's going to be pretty much whatever comes out, that's what you get. So anyone's welcome to ask questions here in the stream. And I know that it's just going to be people that are meant to be here, if anyone comes at all. But if you're not here, then this is going out to the mass human consciousness. So you're getting it at the quantum level anyways. That's how I look at it. So all right. So the key word that my soul, as Hercules, would like to focus in on is the word trust. So for me to even do this sort of thing, I have to have some sort of trust, because if you're trying to access communications from your soul, you the biggest thing that will impede you is trust issues. Like, you don't trust the information, and that's okay, because you should fact check things. Like, I used to fact check my soul all the time, and then I started to realize that my soul was mostly correct about things. I mean, we get things kind of mixed up here because of this time matrix. The time matrix makes things a bit fuzzy, and so it's important for higher consciousness to have people like you out there who are in tune with them, with their souls, and can give them feedback, provide information about what's going on here. It's not always clear, and that may surprise you, but that's just the way this particular area of the galaxy is. It's the way this planet is. This is a special planet. So with that said, so trust. If you don't trust your information, then you're going to impede yourself, because you're going to block information. And higher consciousness is wanting to interact with everybody who will listen, who will who will know when they're being communicated with. And in my videos, at least my last one, I go over how you can communicate with your soul. One of the most effective ways is automatic writing. You just relax, write a question out, get in your heart center, love, praise, and gratitude, raise your vibration, and then simply write a question and then write an answer. Keep it like a journal. That is the beginning of being able to be like a good channeler. I don't recommend channeling, because unless it's coming through your heart vibration, unless you can feel it in your chest coming through your heart, then you're just going to access the dumping ground of humanity, which is the astral plane, or the psychic, and where anything can come in. So your heart center is like it's like a filter. It's only going to filter in the higher energy, allow the higher energies to come through, because your heart center is the center of your light, your divine spark, and it's also the seat of your mind. You've heard the term heart mind on the internet or in books, and that's what it is. It's an actual mind. People have lost a lot of their brain, like in accidents and or surgery, and they were able to. Some were able to continue functioning almost fully because their hearts were intact. The seat of the mind is in the heart. People that have had heart transplants have had a complete change of personality, because the seat of the mind, which is unseen, it's not the brain. Brain is storage, okay, and certain nervous system functions. Um, Brain is storage, but the heart is the mind. The mind is unseen. It's like a intelligence field around you, not only around you but in you. It interconnects all your cells through a faster than light network. Some call it the longitudinal scalar waves. Your biggest scalar wave generator in your body, scalar waves are used for transferring information, but your biggest scalar wave generator in your body is your heart. So, anyways, keep that in mind. Trust. Trust is going to come through experience. You need to write a lot in your journals to gain that trust. And if you're having problems with that, you could just start with yes and no questions. And then your questions will get better and better. And you will fact check based upon your past experiences whether or not it was answered correctly, and then you'll gain more and more trust, and then more and more information will come to you that you can use. So this is a self-empowerment thing. Relying on outside readers is okay in the beginning, but if you don't move into actually doing it for yourself, then um, you're going to slow your journey down. And on this planet right now, there is rapid acceleration of frequencies. So this is the best time to get on track to access your higher abilities by getting yourself right. Project the highest frequencies of love, joy, enthusiasm. If something negative comes in, then you want to check it and replace it. Don't repress it. Just check it and replace it. Replace it with something better. And that way, you're still in touch with your feelings. But the key point is you're always checking in with yourself, because you're aware that cause and effect can cause problems in your lives. If you make negative causes, you can have negative effects. You don't want that. You want to be conscious creators here. So trust is key. And I can't do this myself, help you, without trusting myself, which means I had to put the time in on myself to do that. So with that said, we'll move on to the next one. So I downloaded this tarot app, Galaxy Tarot. The reason I chose it is because it's simple, and I don't want to read the definitions of things so much as I just want to focus in on keywords. This allows me to do that. I could do it with a dictionary, pick a certain page, just look at it. Like the Buddhist Bible is really it's not a Bible, but it's what they kind of refer to as a Bible. that's really good for that. You could just go to a certain page and it'll be the page you need to read, okay? Tarot can work the same way. And but come up with your own definitions. Use the keywords, but come up with your own definitions. They need to come from your own soul experience, your own experience here on this planet. And the other thing is, I'm going to talk about innocence because there's a big misconception on this planet in Christian based beliefs that people are born into sin. And if you look at a baby, a newborn baby, um, if you look at that baby like that baby's sinful or born into sin, guess what's going to happen? That baby's going to have a negative energy filter in their visual cortex, and they're going to be viewing life through a negative filter that you just instilled because you did not look at them in a higher vibration when you first saw them. And this damage has been done to most people on this planet. And you have to go through a process to eliminate that filter. It's called visual centering. There's a book by Dr. Catherine E. May called Who Needs Light. It explains in detail how to do it. I did it on my pathway. Basically, you're connecting, and you end up connecting the center of your brain to your heart, and you become more empowered, which helped me when I was channeling information on Facebook years ago under the name James Evans. You can look that up, okay? So dimensional reality when they're first born, and they only become impure as they're socialized by people of lower vibration. If a baby is raised in higher vibration, the highest vibrations, they retain their purity. So people are not born into sin. That is a control thing that's been put out by religion, and it is not. That's of man. It's not of Creator, of God. And this may affect people's beliefs because they're so ingrained. But you need to fact check what I'm saying with your soul, find out if that is true. And your answer is going to change as your frequency rises. All your answers are going to change because one truth leads to a higher truth. Okay, let's talk about the keyword playfulness. Playfulness, humor, necessary. It's necessary because your frequency goes up and down every day in various moments. And humor is a way to raise your frequency. If you're always taking things seriously and you're never joking or never having a good time, then it's going to be reflecting what's attracted to you. So you need to play, but make sure you don't hurt others or interfere with their free will. So that's the card. That's the card, the Fool, used in tarot. Oops. Got to work this properly. It's under Explore Cards section of Galaxy Tarot. There you go. The Fool, okay? All right, we'll look at another card. The Magician. Let's look at the Magician. The keywords of the Magician cards are focus, ability, action, creative power, communication, resourcefulness. All right, we've already been talking about communication from the soul. The when I speak about automatic writing, I guess we're talking about communication now. When I speak about automatic writing, we're talking about the Christ mind. It's where you're saying the right thing at the right time. comes out, it's automatic. It's like automatic speaking. Like right now, I'm not really thinking about what I'm going to say next. I'm letting it flow, but I'm letting it flow from a higher frequency, from through my heart center. And if I do that, I'm going to connect with this genius frequency, if you will, of divine intelligence, and I will be able to tell you the thing you need to hear without impeding your growth or your journey. And a lot of what people say is just noise, okay? Because they're just connected to the mass human consciousness, and they're just saying what everybody else is saying instead of connecting to their soul. The soul is an inward connection; it's not outward. Anything that takes away your power or keeps your focus from connecting within is something that's going to impede you. It's part of the imbalanced forces that impede you. So everybody needs to go within to connect with the kingdom of heaven, or God within. It's very important. It's why you're here. If you never achieve that in this lifetime, then a major portion of why you're here. It's not a total waste, but it means you could have done a lot more. So keep that in mind. You need to live through your soul, live as a soul, not a personality. See everyone around you as a soul. See animals as a soul, plants as a soul. Treat them accordingly. You've heard of these like 2 commandments. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, strength, mind, and soul. This sort of living fulfills that. And and the second one is treat others as yourself, the golden rule. It fulfills that too. So if you live as a soul here, then your world will change accordingly. You'll have synchronicities come into your life, and it'll be like a magical life, and great things will be attracted to you as you raise your vibration. All right, focus. I'll talk about focus real quick. Okay, as a soul, we tend to just focus. If we're in a forest, we focus on the trees. We focus on what's immediately around us. Your world could be defined as like 30 feet around you. And you may focus a little bit further, but people here tend to focus on what's in front of them. But there's an unseen world. There's a greater focus. You could be focusing on the planet, the galaxy, all of creation. And that can only be accessed from within, the greater focus. So the greater focus is through your soul. So when you look at a situation, you could have one point of view, but it's from your personal consciousness point of view. It's not from divine consciousness. So, but you can only access divine consciousness through your soul. So you want to have both focuses. You want to have your personal point of view, and plus you want to have that divine consciousness point of view, so that you're seeing things correctly. And you can take the appropriate actions, because remember, life is an activity, and your actions are very telling. Your actions actually show what your intentions are. The Magician is a card of vision and magic. Magic is the Ascended Master Thoth of the Atlanteans, of Atlantis. He said something one time. He said that what the ignorant call magic, we call science. Living is science. And metaphysical abilities are not magic, they're science. They're referred to as magic, but they're science. And there's certain initiations that you go through to achieve certain abilities. So as you can see, I'm in a truck right now, right? I could be driving down the road and I could be at the same speed as everybody else. But if I go through my third eye, I can create a wormhole in front of me, and I can see myself passing that other vehicle in front of me without speeding up. I could have my cruise control set at 65, and that vehicle in front of me is going 65. And if I activate that vortex through my third eye, I can actually get in the vortex, and I'll end up passing that vehicle and leave it far behind. I visualize myself in front of the vehicle and looking back at the vehicle. That's how I do it. But I'm also in high frequency. I get myself in high frequency. I connect with my soul, love, praise, and gratitude. And this vortex that's activated through your third eye, it was actually measured at Skinwalker Ranch when these extraterrestrial vehicles were passing by. They had these instrument readings, these sensors out, and they were able to detect a vortex that was parallel to that vehicle's pathway. Okay, so they're like insane velocities and their maneuvers. They happened whenever there was this vortex parallel to the vehicle. So they were connecting to a wormhole, and that's how it works. So, but you can do the same thing with your third eye. Your third eye, you can be transported through your third eye to higher dimensions. And that happened to me once, and I saw lavender fractals in my third eye, and then I was transported to a meeting. But that sort of thing exists, and so the thing I did with the vehicle about passing a vehicle without speeding up, you can practice that, because time is a matrix. It's a false construct. It's here to impede you. It's not a part of the natural order. It's only a part of the imbalance that helps you expand here, because you go from imbalance into balance to expand as a soul. That movement is what expands you. The journey expands you. Okay, so all right. The power of your mind and tools available to you bring about something you desire. Well, the magician. Well, that's true about everybody. You have an intention, and whether you consciously or unconsciously, you create everything around you. The elementals just outpicture that reality for you. So when you become a conscious creator, that is how you master your life. But it requires some work and some effort. If people don't put in the effort, you put your effort in the outward activities, then it will always be like a candle flickering in the wind. Anything could blow you over. Um, and you're just reacting to life instead of creating it. And how can you heal something if you're not creating? That all comes from the soul. All right. That's all I want to talk. Okay, I should better. Let's talk about power, creative power, power. That's part of the magician. That power comes from, as I mentioned in videos that I've done on this channel, the threefold flame: love, wisdom, power. Power only activates. That power flame only activates when you've gone through the gateway of love, and you've started accessing your soul wisdom, and you're living constructively, and actually creating your life anew. Uh, that's where the power comes in, because you are um, having the power over the conditions that are attracted to you, and because using the law of attraction, like attracts like. So when you go into higher frequency, only the best things can be attracted to you, and the synchronicities line up. It's like everything works out suddenly, and that can seem like magic, but it's the simple workings of cosmic law and universal principles, which are available to everybody. So that creative power is available to everybody. But if you don't have that inward focus and live your life as a soul here, you will never experience that creative power. Um, you will It will seem like you're a victim of circumstances when you're not. You're the creator of your circumstances, because you attract the circumstances. So you have to accept responsibility, and that's hard for people, because if they're going through illness or whatever, they think, well, what did I do to deserve this? Why is God treating me this way? You are the God in action here, and it's up to you to create the experiences that you want here, or attract the experiences that you want here. So a lot of this is placed on you as a soul. The quality of your experiences here are directly related to what responsibilities you take here as a soul. Some people are in connection with their soul, and they start exercising their divine authority to master conditions, to change the conditions of this world for the better. So, but it's all up to you. I could give you all the advice in the world, tell you to go, be a student of the Abraham teachings on the internet, which are very good. They're prime universe, prime creators teachings, actually, through a lady named Esther. They're very good, but you could be watching the April for months and years and not hardly progress if you don't put anything in action. So reading all the books in the world is not giving you all the mental knowledge, is not going to help you as much as putting it into action. That's why what I present is just very simple things you can put into action. You don't need a whole lot of information. You just need to do. And that's my focus. Right activity, right useness is what propels you on your ascension journey and will lead you to success. You all are the magician. All right. The next card is the High Priestess card of the tarot. The keywords of the High Priestess card is intuition, inner voice, subconscious, receptivity, silence. So I'm going to talk about silence. The Ascended Master Saint Germain in his teachings here actually talks about that a little bit. In one statement, he says, silence is power. When you are soul connected in joy, your mind goes pretty silent. The human mass consciousness can't just barge in, because start putting whatever into your mind, into your thoughts, because you're in a higher frequency than the human mass consciousness. If you exercise joy, I said this in my video last night, if you exercise joy, it puts you in a higher frequency, because it's energy and motion. It's an emotion. So you should always be in a emotional state, a positive emotional state. A lot of people spend times just in a mental state where they're not emoting. They're and you shouldn't do that. You should always be in an emotional state, and a joy to access. If you're quiet on the inside because you're in joy, then all that advice you ever wanted to get from your soul, the information will start to come through. So you have to silence yourself through positive, constructive, joyful emotions. Emotions control the thoughts. They're energized thoughts. So if you change your emotions, you will change your thought patterns. Intuition, inner voice, I just covered that. I just told you what to do. It's like that first and greatest commandment: love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, mind, and soul. That means to connect to the God within, or the I am, and you connect to it through love, and then your intuition will get stronger. You will start to hear your inner voice. Now, this card also talks about the subconscious. The subconscious is storage, and any higher dimensional communications coming to you that you're not aware of will eventually filter down through your subconscious, and you'll remember, oh yeah, well, and it'll be like an inspiring thought or something coming through, and that can come from your subconscious because it was able to filter down. So you can think of the subconscious as a temporary storage for your conscious mind. And then what we're talking about as the soul is what you would think of as the superconscious mind. Okay, that's enough of the high priestess. So right now, how am I feeling? I'm checking in with myself. Right now, I'm feeling like a lot of energy flowing through me. It's affecting my nervous system, and I feel a bit queasy. That's because the my nervous system is being affected here because of all the energy. So what do I have to do in this situation? I need to ground, and so that's what I'm doing. Right, I need to connect to the center of the earth, ground my energy into the earth. Then I should also connect my energy to the great central sun, or the Godhead, which is the center of the galaxy. All you do is visualize this and just send your energy upward through your heart. It goes through your crown and to the central sun. Same with the when and it'll help you be more balanced. Okay, the next card is the Empress. The Empress. The Empress cards are about creativity, abundance, nature, nurturing, sensuality, fertility. Let's talk about nature real quick. Nature is pure, and connecting to nature is like connecting to the crystalline grid of this planet. It's higher frequency. It can be very healing. You can get healing from the crystalline grid. Crystalline grid is a network of consciousness around the planet. It tends to interact with the nervous system of the planet, which is the crystal kingdom, the formations of crystals in the planet, and which also link to the chakras or energy vortexes of the planet. There's 54 major, 54 minor ones, 108 total for the planet, and they have a lot of holy sites are recognized for those vortices, I should say, and so nature is pure. Connect with nature. It's a good way to ground. Uh, you probably heard, well, go hug a tree. Well, I'll add to it. Hug the tree, but send your energy into the tree, and then the tree will automatically send that energy back to you. Give to the tree first, and then the tree will automatically give you the energy back. Trees are like a record keeper of souls, like the dolphins and whales and crystals. So trees are very good people, if you will, beings to get to know. So I recommend like sitting down with your back to a tree, feet on the ground, barefoot, get those electrons flowing into your body, and then just send loving appreciation to the tree. Love, praise, gratitude to the tree. And then the tree is going to respond automatically. The soul of the tree will respond. Yes, trees have souls, and it's a shame that we cut them down. That's why the hemp plant is on the planet. We can use a lot of do a lot of construction with hemp as opposed to trees. Trees have souls. When you cut down trees, you're cutting down souls. You're eliminating sensuality here. Just because you're spiritual doesn't mean you can be sensual. Sensual could be interpreted as sexual, enjoying your senses, like uh, wearing nice colors, bright colors, enjoying great food, delicious food, um, having a good time. There's nothing wrong with sensuality. Uh, you should express sensually because that's why you're here, but also go within. Focus some of your attention within. You need to have a balance of that. Being over potential can actually lead you into karmic patterns, which would block you. They become obstacles that you need to overcome. So just be aware of that. Sensuality is great. Uh, okay, like 20, I don't know, 100,000 years ago, you had not Atlanteans, but precursor civilizations before that, Golden Age type civilizations who utilized ritual and sex with sex, but they called it blood magic. Blood magic can be used positively and negatively here. The deep state cabal use blood magic. They like to use your DNA, like to do things, try to do things. But blood magic was always used in creativity, union, the union of souls through sex, and it was a very sacred thing. So, I'm not. I kind of lost track of where I am with that, but but so sacred union through sex requires that you connect to your senses, and you can connect with your soul through your senses to people that you're intimate with, and that can be either a very empowering thing or it could be a scary thing. Just depends on where you're at. How close are you willing to get to somebody? And so, but magic, what you think of as magic, can be used at the highest levels or the lowest levels. But just remember that there's repercussions because of universal laws, and it could come back at you. It could boomerang back at you and either hurt you or help you. But only that's why you should be living as a soul, because you're not going to make those destructive choices. You're going to make constructive choices. So everybody, okay, this Empress card talks about nurturing, and talks about the mother. Everybody loves a mother. Okay, I mean, there's some people with mother issues. It's an energy thing, and everybody wants to be mothered. And if they don't have a mother, then someone will end up in their life that takes the role of a mother. Someone's going to end up in their life that takes the role of the fool. And if they don't have that, or if they're not expressing that, some father figure is going to enter someone's life who doesn't isn't expressing that. So so this mother energy it's rather unique. It's healing. Not everybody has it, but you will end up being drawn to people if you need it that have that. And I was listening to this tarot reader, the other last night. Her name is Linda, and she said that she was smelling croissants. So is this person French or whatever? And the first thing that came to my mind was the smell of baked bread. Um, Baked bread is it's a comforting smell in the kitchen. I've always associated the mother energy with that comfort of being in a warm kitchen with the smell of baked bread that you're going to have in the morning with your breakfast. So certain senses can be reminders of of that. Everybody should be connected and loving to their divine mother. Not all mothers are nice, by the way, and that's a problem with a lot of the what's happening in many countries is the family units are being destroyed, and there is no mother and father, but um, there is a mother-father principle. That's the top of that's the apex of the Holy Trinity that you've heard about in Christianity, and the lower left of that Trinity is the so at the top you have the mother-father principle, and at the lower left of that apex of the triangle you have the sons and daughters of God, which we all are. And then on the right side, you have the Holy Spirit. People misunderstand the Holy Spirit. You could break it apart. Whole eye spirit. That means that's your soul. People tend to think that the Holy Spirit is something that comes into you and is external. It is not. The Holy Spirit is partially in people because it's their soul is only partially in. As you purify more of your soul enters your body. So you have to purify your vessel, and I mean by purifying it energetically. Um, and that's why I teach on my channel about the use of the violet flame decrees to charge your bodies, charge your spirit, mind, body complex, so that you are purifying the environment for your soul to sink lower and lower into your body. For like 24 years in Earth time, so it helped me. So I could be here on this planet to express as Hercules. For years, I was expressing as God of light, goddess of light, and as Luce. And but then only maybe in the last 6 years did I start expressing as Hercules. So I had to go through stages because Hercules is who I'm actually incarnated as, and I had to rest through a lower form to get to the highest form that I express through. So souls have levels. My circumstance is a bit unique in that regard of why I'm here, but keep in mind souls have levels, and you have cosmic ancestors that are at higher levels, and that cosmic lineage can help you. Um, they focus in on you because you're them. So get yourself right here. You're the one. You're the ground. You're the actor or the agent here on the ground. That's a part of that cosmic lineage. So um, focus in on yourself. Raise yourself up so that your cosmic ancestors, your cosmic lineage, can help you, can express through you. All right, that's enough of that. So I've gone through 4 cards so far: the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress. It just gives me topics to talk about from my soul. And my soul, as you can tell, my soul has a lot to say about that, about things that aren't on these cards. But your soul does too. So the journaling to your soul is really important. It should be something you do every day. Okay, the next card is the Emperor card. See, Oops. The Emperor card. The keywords of the Emperor card are personal power, stability, responsibility, structure, authority. So personal power, where does that come from? It comes from the power flame within your heart. If you're not connected to your heart at all, you haven't activated your heart flames, your authority here is very limited. Your personal power is very limited because personal power is linked to consciously create here, which involves taking responsibility in your life for your miscreations, transmuting them, and then constructively creating from there on. Excuse me. So what you need to do is to take responsibility for your miscreations. You need to transmute them. First, you need to recognize them, then you transmute them. And how do you recognize them? Well, problems are going to come up in your life. You need to you need to think about, well, what are the causes of those problems? What's behind it? What's behind what's happening in front of me? And that answer's in your soul. Or it could be also in someone that's around you that mirrors it towards you. If you have people constantly acting a certain way to you and you don't know why that is, it's because something's being reflected back at you, that it's a quality of your personality that you're living through that's being reflected at you. Remember, your soul is all divine qualities. So the external can direct you towards what you need to work on internally. But if you don't want to analyze all that, just do what I have stated. And just do what I have stated and live in joy and enthusiasm and replace all the negatives with the positive and just start that way. And you don't have to analyze yourself that much. Just do that. It'll take care of a lot of things. Trust me. That's the first thing I started with. And it will do wonders for you. If you can practice living in joy for certain time periods of the day to start with, then give yourself a break. Then do it again. Give yourself a break. Do it again. Give yourself a break. Then incrementally, you're going to work up towards being in joy all the time. The longer you sustain it, the greater your momentum, the faster it builds. So your authority comes from the doesn't matter if you're a bossy personality or you like to tell other people what to do, or if you're a quiet beta type, alpha male. It doesn't matter really, because you could be a mixture of alpha and beta. It doesn't matter, because authority always comes from your use of your divine authority. Like if I could say something and be in my divine authority, and then you would just know that it's the truth. You wouldn't be arguing with me or anything, because your soul is just telling you, well, that's truth. I understand that truth. I can relate to it. So where the arguments happen is where people are making statements or putting things out that are not based on their divine authority. They're just opinions. And only the soul knows. Knowing is the highest form of knowledge here. Everything else is just hearsay. Knowing comes from experiences that are from your Akashic records in your soul, the record of heaven, and your own experiences here. If you've experienced something directly and you talk about it, then you speak from authority. You speak from knowing. And when you recognize that knowing in others, then it's beneficial to listen to them. But you only recognize the knowing because you understand the knowing from your own perspective. Like you understand the power of knowing because you've experienced it. And that's what I'm trying to message I'm trying to put out on my channel, is that the knowing from your soul and living according to that is the highest form of living here. It's going to give you the greatest benefit in the shortest amount of time. You need to get right with your soul. You need to be in connection with it. And we start with our emotions. Living in joy, correcting yourself, replacing negative patterns that come up, and then watch your world change. Watch what's attracted to you change. And then that brings its own momentum, because you get enthusiastic about your path, and you actually start waking up every day looking forward to life instead of dreading what's coming the next day. So there's two different extremes there. Stability. Well, stability. Remember that the omniverse is always expanding. You as a soul are always in movement. You're always expanding. You're either in acceleration or deceleration mode, depending on the pathway and the choices that you make. You can choose to accelerate, like I've been talking about, or you can choose to decelerate. But ultimately, you're all going to move towards your ascension, because you're all being magnetically pulled towards your ascension, towards the great central sun. You're automatically being pulled to the Christ within, or the Buddha within, or the Krishna within. You're always being pulled there. You're always being pulled home. Everyone's on the journey home. It's being pulled back to balance, even if you're in a state of imbalance. The only thing that can detrimentally affect you there is soul damage. Soul damage can happen when you get involved in the negative rituals and the negative patterns for so long that and you've never had a respite or rest where your love can heal you. Um, then your soul can be so damaged that you have to start over. That is what the deep state cabal people that are involved in ritual, the negative rituals for so long, that's what they fear, and that's why they try to keep. That's one reason why they actually would rather destroy everything than save it. They don't want that. They think that death is permanent, and it's not. You just start over, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's happened to more souls than you can imagine, who are of high attainment. And remember, time only exists on these worlds where obstacles and impedance are necessary to gain expansion. So there is no time in the quantum verse, quantum universes. You're not losing anything by starting over. And also want to bring up that in moments of time here, you can start over every single moment. If you were on a lower frequency previously, forgive yourself and go into a higher frequency and start over. The momentum you achieve from being constructive never dissipates. That remains with you. So if you make a mistake, just start over, and you will retain the previous momentum. Don't be concerned about losing your progress, because you're not going to lose it. You can only gain from it. Um, it only moves in one direction. That momentum only moves in one direction, which is upward and onward. Move forward in your life. Go to the next chapter. Don't hold on the old things so much that don't serve anymore. Be ready for the new. Go into the new. So that's my interpretation of the Emperor card. See, your soul has so much to say about these things. I mean, these cards are like a couple of paragraphs that somebody came up with, but you can key in on it, because um, I'm treating this tarot deck as a card catalog in a library. I don't focus on everything at once. None of us do, and none of us Elohim do. Something catches our attention, like a prayer coming from somebody that's interacting with their body of light, or there's some incident that I'm involved in, and souls are involved, then I may focus in on them. I mean, it's that sort of thing. Okay, so so I'm treating these cards as a card catalog, something to talk about, basically, subjects to talk about. I guess you could call this session the musings of the soul. And I have no one on my live feed right now, which is okay because my focus is creation wide, the omniverse, and what I'm speaking about goes out to the om. Someone's listening at some level of communication, and I'm in the quantum realm right now, so I'm actually speaking to the human mass consciousness until somebody comes into this room. Then I'll focus more in on them. All right. The hero font. Am I saying that right? Hero or I guess you pronounce it hierophant. The hierophant. I'll have to look up how that's pronounced. Doesn't matter. It's the energy that counts, right? What is the hierophant? That's the teacher, tradition, culture, conformity, philosophy. Immediately, my soul wants to talk about tradition. Tradition, knowing where you came from, is history is nice, but and it may be comforting. It may connect you to a family, to a nation. That's okay. Being a part of family is great, but don't stay stuck in tradition so much that you're unwilling to let new things come into your life. And because remember, as a soul, we're always in expansion mode. Our goal here is to expand, and traditions, being in the old, may cause you to um, be fearful of change. Fear of change is a very big fear. It's a reinforced pattern on the planet. I've talked about this before. Um, Allow the changes, even if you have to disconnect from family, from those traditions. Allow the changes, and then make new traditions. I think in one of the videos I talked about being a pioneer. You may have to be a pioneer, an explorer. You may have to detach from your family so that you can experience new things, so you can expand. Because, and you'll know you need to do that when when you find your life currently being very unfulfilling, like it's just a boring menagerie of existence. There's no zest in life. There's no spontaneity, no fun. Well, you're in a rut, and it could be because you're mired in tradition. Someone who has a global sort of focus, they would the way they speak would be friendly to other cultures. Do you notice that I don't speak in this Judeo-Christian format? Because my goal isn't to alienate. Religions were always pitted against each other as opposing sides, and wars and conflicts were created over them purposefully for the creation of money, and also a false sense of power and control. And I always speak what I call non-denominationally. Um, Instead of God, I use the term creator. We in higher dimensions use that term a lot, creator. I mean, the word God has a high frequency. I use I am a lot because I am has a high frequency. It's a high frequency word. In some of my decrees, I I differentiated the opening of the decree so that people of all faiths could be comfortable with it. It's my respect for your culture, for your upbringing, that caused me to do that. But if I speak of the I am presence, that doesn't step on the toes of someone in Islam or Christianity or Buddhism or Hinduism or any of the other isms out there, the other religious conformities. Oh, and that, another key word here is conformity. So my soul is kind of flowing along with this whole concept, okay, of the Hierophant, is that conformity. Conformity to the human mass consciousness is not a great thing, because the key to elevating yourselves is to go within. The soul, your soul is unique, it's individual. The definition of the soul would be the individualized God in action. So that makes you unique. But if you're so caught up in the conformity to your culture, to the mass human consciousness, and never gain that connection within, and experience that uniqueness that you are, then you're not living up to your full potential or the reason that you're here. The Hierophant is about the teacher. Well, you can rely on books and all that, and they're helpful, but they should only rely on external knowledge. Ultimately, in regards to how it will help you to access the knowledge within, that divine intelligence within. I mean, if I don't know about a certain science, I should go read up on it, but maybe that's going to trigger something, okay? That's going to trigger something within, oh, like a memory, like a movie playing in me. Because we've all been the hero, the villain, we've all been the scientist, the artist, we've all done that sort of thing. We've switched roles. So you have that record within you, that Akashic record. So gaining outer schools of knowledge are helpful, but the case in point, physics experiments. In physics, they may be measuring light, and this is actually pretty common knowledge, but they were was trying to measure in photons. The other was experimenting and with the idea that light occurs as waves. Well, what they found out was that it was doing both. It just depended on the personal point of view of the observer. So, but how can your personal point of view change um, away from the point of view of the majority or the mass human consciousness, which is mired in this outer knowledge, without going within? Shouldn't the outer knowledge be tempered with the inner knowledge? Shouldn't you see both? Because you don't have full access to the inner, so you may need some of the outer. More and more inner knowledge you get, like if you read something that's scientifically based, you may be at the point where you look at that and say, well, no, that's not really true. My soul knows that. This is just a falsehood that's being perpetuated over and over. And if it's done enough times, then it becomes the truth out here. But my soul knows it is something different. You can reach that point where you can discern what's true and what's not true at higher levels. But something can be true at a lower level, but not at a higher level. So there's different levels of truth. But that's part of your journey, is to find that, and you can find some of it in the outer, but it means nothing until you start experiencing it through your own experiences here, which is why I always encourage activity, loving activity. You need to be living life here like it's like you're in a laboratory experimenting and making conclusions from those experiments, and then increasing your knowledge that way, and focusing on your soul, love, praise, and gratitude. Get those heart flames engaged. An open heart means an open mind. Then the mind of God, or the mind of the Christ, or the mind of the Buddha, or the Krishna can flow through you. But it had to start with access to the heart. So I've been on this live stream for an hour. Not a single person has come in, but that's okay. See, my soul can just rattle on and on and on, because I, as Hercules, like to teach. I like to um, impart knowledge. I get a bit impatient, I suppose. I want us to move on to the next chapter of our existence here as a galactic civilization, but we're going through steps of disclosure and all that, and I want to get to the end, because I know what's ahead, and it's pretty awesome. But I also want to support you. I'm committed to staying here in this time matrix so that everybody goes home. We all go home together. And that's been my commitment for years now. I was committed that way as the God of light, goddess of light on my ascension path. And I lived here for many years as the one you know of as Gabriel. And Gabriel has a complement that oversees the imbalance forces as well. I was living as that too. I was back and forth, but I now live in the highest aspect of me, which the highest level, which is Hercules. We all can't do that, but I was actually incarnated here specifically as Hercules. But I couldn't get to the Hercules frequencies until I went through certain things. Until I put that work in on myself, I dove deep inside myself, into my soul, and corrected anything that was of lower frequencies. I always tried to work on that, and I hope all of you will work on it as well. I know you will. It's just because all roads lead home. Some roads are curvy, some and take you longer. Some roads are straight; they lead you right there. It's up to you to discern which way to go. Either way, you get there. So the next card, the next arcana of tarot is the Lovers. Again, I'm seeing tarot as sort of a card catalog of the human condition. Gives me something to talk about, and I picked this Galaxy Tarot because it's not giving me a bunch of paragraphs about the interpretation. I really don't care about that. What I care about is the key words, because then I can focus on the key words and write and talk about it. I'm automatic talking, basically. You can do this with your automatic journaling. Just download your virtual tarot deck, focus in on keywords of the interpretation, and then write about it. Get your own knowledge coming in from your soul. You may not trust it fully and completely, but it's going to get more and more accurate as you trust it more. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. You don't trust, so you question, but it's good to question. So you have to fact check, maybe with other outward knowledge, or you have to fact check through experience. And I fact check my soul. I'll Google a lot of things. Well, how did I come up with white pine? What is white pine? I go look it up. I communicated a remedy to somebody that I knew nothing about, but my soul did, and I communicated what was needed. Then I had to go look up what all these ingredients were for the remedy, for their physical condition, and oh, that's where that came from. So that's what that's for. I didn't know, okay? I didn't know consciously, but my soul knew. But if I didn't have the trust, how could I give that person that information? So trust is important. Okay, keywords of the Lovers is love, passion, choice, crossroads, commitment, communication. Okay, we talked about communication a lot here. choice. You have free choice, but not all your some of your free choices are limited. Like you're limited in that you can't stray outside of cosmic law or universal principles that are set up for everybody so that everybody can enjoy their expansion in creation. You can't stray outside those lines and destroy the whole apple cart just because you want to be a rebel. And spirit isn't trying to control you. So you're given choice. You're allowed free choices. If you consider yourself at a crossroads, where are you standing right now? There's 360 degrees in a circle, right, all around you. But if you were to divide it up further, there's actually infinite degrees um, in a circle. Okay, not just 360. If you go by a different measurement, a unit of measurement, then there's infinite degrees. So there's infinite possibilities from each moment. There's infinite paths that you could choose from each moment at that crossroads. So you have the choice. Now, your experience is going to tell you which way to go most of the time, but also your soul knowledge can come in and say, no, no, even though you want to go that way, go this way. And then that may temper your decision. So you're using your external knowledge and experience here, plus you're using the inner knowledge and experience simultaneously, and that's a very healthy thing to do. Living here as an ascended master or archangel and just always being in the know and knowing everything and never having to make choices based upon experience no growth. So you're part of the human here and you're part of the divine. Excuse me. So it's important that you live as a human here, but also live as the divine here, and use them both. Use the outer and the inner, but the qualities of the inner will end up influencing the outer, and then the outer will be reflective of your momentum, your soul momentum, of what's going on in the inner, how connected you are. There's times where I don't listen to my soul urgings, and something happens. You're like, oh, don't place that cup here, and then coffee. I'd be like, oh shit. So those experiences lead me to trust my soul's urgings more and more. Passion, passion. There's some negative connotations to passion because the cabal, the deep state, like to use it in their occult. They think that passion is an absence of love. It's just like pure emotion. No, it's not. It's just energy. I consider passion to be energy, and that passion can be put into anything. What we like, we tend to be more passionate about, and what we extremely dislike, we tend to be passionate about. The more extreme the like or the dislike is, the more passionate we are towards it, because the more we feel about it. It's like a level of feeling. Is how I interpret it. So, um, if you're just going through life in neutrality and you're never emotional, you're not going to experience passion. And where's the fun in that? If you want to live life here as an automaton, as a robot, that's not. Is that really living? Is that what you signed up for here? So it's okay to be passionate, but also be soul connected and be passionate. That would be the best. Commitment. Commitment. What do I want to say about commitment? Okay, let me read a bit more about this card. The Lovers is a card about the choices and connections that shape our destiny. It represents the union of our animal and civilized selves. Okay, what is that? The animal is the human. Civilized is the mental personality. You see, I don't agree with that because this interpretation is implying that to be civilized, you got to be this erudite, scholarly person, and not so. Because it sort of goes against the passion, the love. Do I want to be Mr. Spock in Star Trek, or do I want to be the passionate James T. Kirk? Um, so no, civilized. Okay, civilized could mean, well, I'm living in higher frequencies, so I'm going to make more constructive choices. I'm going to choose not to hurt people, and I'd rather where me and someone else both wins in the interaction. That's more of a unity consciousness thing. That is more of a service to others thing, which puts you in higher frequency automatically. So civilized in that aspect is good. Okay, this one qualifies as civilized selves of our hearts and minds. So I just explained it. Um, don't just be in your mind, be also in your heart. And and of our heart with another's. So how you interact with people, how you treat them, the golden rule. It's really a reflection of the inner you. What you put out there in activity can be seen by everybody and reflect what you're hiding in the inner. Remember that. You can't hide from yourself. You can't hide from the inner because it'll be reflected in your outer activities, and a lot of people are going to see that. They're going to say, well, this person isn't walking their talk. All right, commitment. To me, commitment is just about discipline. It's about sustaining your momentum, increasing it, being committed towards a higher way of living, um, and committed towards helping rather than hindering others, um, being in cooperation rather than being against. Um, anyways, let's move on. It's getting warm. It's getting warm in here, but finally. But I have noises out here. I'm in a truck stop. Yeah, I live in a truck, as you can see from my background. I like to move around, I guess. Keeps me as a moving target, they say. All right, we'll go ahead and move on. The Chariot. Okay, that's another major arcana of tarot. The Chariot. I used to think that tarot was just, oh, it's just for psychics and stuff, but it can be very useful, I think, if you get the right deck. Some of these cards are divinely inspired. I saw some readers using some that I really thought were cool, and it can help you talk about different things as a reader. It can help you access different things. Um, so it's I like those different decks, but if they're overly wordy, then they can confuse people. I'd rather have something simple I can look at, and then something will be accessed from my soul regarding that word. That's why I'd use the keywords of this tarot card. I picked it because of its simplicity. The truth is a simple thing, actually. Um, we tend to make things more complicated. Okay, the keywords of the Chariot are self discipline, determination, victory, alignment, travel. Victory, everybody wants that. But do we attain victory at the cost of others? Victory. Do we have winners and losers? Is winners and loser in line with creator, with union, with is it in line with the win-win? Um, is it in alignment with unity consciousness? So is your victory in alignment with unity consciousness? Did your victory hurt another? But was that other person's actions, of a dark intent, and they were trying to deprive other people of their health and happiness? So the victory can encompass a lot of things. Now, my goal is never, when I acted in the God of Light role here, my goal wasn't to punish dark ones that stepped out of the lines of their missions. My goal was just to educate them and get them going on the right track again. So what I would do is I would just drain them of their energy. I would drain them so they were helpless and they couldn't feed on the suffering. Because what does the dark do? They feed on suffering, and then they're supposed to give a healing to help that person overcome whatever the issue is. So they feed, then they give a healing, and it's a win-win. Okay, we don't create just an opposing force to destroy you or hurt you to the point where you can never overcome. So the way I checked the dark in that role was I would just drain their energy, and then it would seem like they're starving. It would be like me um, depriving you of food, and you have this gnawing hunger like for eternity or until you changed. That's what I use. That's my fail safe. And I would get challenged. Well, Luce, you're in human form. Yeah, you have no power over me. You can't do that. But then I would prove them wrong. I would do it. And then once they got back in line, I would lift the drain. I would quit draining them. So, but did I hurt them? No. I had them check themselves and redirect, get back on track with Mother and Father Creator's will, which is just to provide impedance or imbalance so that you can overcome it and move into balance. But I didn't hurt the opposing side in the process. All I did was redirect. So I want to say this as a strategist, higher dimensional strategist. We layer strategies so that the lower dimensions don't know what to expect next. I mean, that helps us. But also we layer strategies because we want the win-win. We want union to occur, and that compels us, and we don't waste our life energy. We don't waste what we have. We utilize it to the fullest. If I see a condition, if I perceive a condition, and I can use it to overcome something else, and then create a win, then I'll do it that way. I'll look at, well, what's for the greatest good. That's the way the higher dimensional strategies work. The lower your frequency is, the less likely you're to foresee all the outcomes, and the less you can do as a tactician or a strategist. It is because in the higher frequencies you have access to more points of view. You can see more at once if you need to. Now, we tend to function more like an individual. A lot of times we're just focused on something that's interesting to us, and then we start looking into that. We start tweaking it. Oh, okay, well, this is kind of interesting. Well, what about this? That's how creation works. So, determination is just about um, it relates to self-discipline, um, because it also relates to endurance, stamina. Do you have the stamina to see it through? If you keep quitting on certain things, maybe you should work on your fortitude, your stamina, your strength. I, as Hercules, am divine will, power, strength. So that's a quality that I'm well aware of. That's an aspect of creation that you can have for yourself, is strength. The strength to fortify yourself so that you have the stamina to complete what it is that you wish to complete. Okay, alignment. The Chariot's about alignment. Well, you should always be aligned with your soul. I mean, your chakras or energy points close to your seven major glands could be out of alignment. That only happens because you're in discord. You've let the imbalanced forces cause discord, and you didn't do anything about it. You didn't transmute. So use violet flame decrees, get yourself back in divine alignment, multidimensional, interdimensional healing. You don't have to know everything that's going on about yourself, but I've given you keys in my comment sections of my videos to help yourself, to get you to really accelerate yourself. And you don't have to know all the layers within the onion. That's you. You know how to heal them multidimensionally, interdimensionally. Use the ray of transmutation, which is the violet flame. Use light and sound to alter your spirit, mind, body complex, and to cause the omniverse to give to put new things in your life that are reflective of that healing. But it all starts with you. If you don't have the personal will to do that every day, like I suggest, then you're going to continue to be the candle in the wind that's blown about by circumstances. Get tired of it at one point. Everyone has a point where they're like, okay, I got to change. Maybe it's a dark night of the soul where things just seem like they're, oh my God, this is the end of the world. But then you hit rock bottom and all of a sudden you can just start anew. Maybe you need to get to that point. It just depends where you're at on your journey and your experiences. Okay, I don't know what this travel term is really referring to. I'm going to see if this interpretation gives me anything more to talk about. The only thing I'm going to say about travel is this. People are fascinated with astral travel. If you've ever been in the astral, it's like being in hell. If you have any negativity in you or fear, the worst of your fears will be reflected at you. It'll be your own personal hell. That was my experience. That's been my experience in the astral. And people, well, I'm just gonna love just traveling around, doing all these things. I mean, I've been in orbit around the planet and stuff, but there's things that I wasn't allowed to do in the astral that I kind of wanted to do, experiment with, like peeking in on girls and all that in their room, like talking like sorority girls. I'm not talking about children or anything. But I did try to do some weird things in the astral, and I got stopped. My soul's like, no, 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 don't go there. Um, the astral is utilized by the deep state, the cabal. They want to use remote viewing to find out what's going on. There's readers out there that will be asked to do remote viewings on you, which is that invasion of privacy. Not even celestial privacy. Um, know it's wrong when you're doing it. And stay out of the astral because it's just a dumping ground of emotion, of all the negativity out there. It is not of the Christ mind or the Christ way of life or the enlightened way of life. Stay out of the astral. If you only are able to get up to the psychic level, like if you're a healer, a reader, and you're only able to get up to the psychic level, it's because you're not connected enough to the soul. You haven't done enough love, praise, and gratitude, connection to the soul to raise your frequency. And also, it could be your intentions. Are you service to others more than your service? You only know that through your the record of your own activities here, and you. I mean, that could be helpful. So, but if you're like a reader out there, or a psychic, as you call yourself, a medium, and you have to look at your intent. Take self-reflect. What's your what's your intention? Are you are you out there to make a buck? Are you out there to really help people? Is it both? I mean, what is your intention? And then that's going to determine where you are in consciousness level, and that's going to determine your level of access, because you certainly don't want information coming in from the psychic, because the cabal, deep state, imbalance forces can use a 4 hertz signal, which mimics your brainwave signals, your brainwave frequencies, and they can actually send thoughts into you, like, and you think you're channeling from the divine. That's how they corrupted the light worker movement on the internet. All these people thought they were channeling their um, their higher selves, but they were channeling an agenda from the deep state through the use of this 4 hertz signal that they were sending out. That's why I always say, if you're going to access any sort of healing, any sort of knowledge, it needs to come through your heart. They can't influence your heart like that. All they can do is attack your heart, which they did with the shots, those COVID shots, the Chinese crate venom and cobra venom proteins in those shots were designed to attack the heart area, to eliminate the people that were less soul connected. Those people are dying in the millions right now, and I know the media is not reporting it, but it's the truth, and it will be put out there, which is why we in the alliance um, have eliminated the adrenochrome problem, and many other things that you don't know about. And yes, I work with the alliance, but in the unseen world, I work as a god of light. That's how I work. If I drop in there as Hercules, they don't know who I am, because they can't. Even the alliance can't see the 15th dimension. They can't see a being or perceive a being that high. So I have to work in the frequencies where this polarity is. So polarity is actually in 5 in the beginnings of the 6D, sixth dimension, at the very edges of it. So that's where I work as God of Light. So when I say I'm the alliance, I'm referring to the aspect of my soul in the unseen world. Here, I'm just a normal person like you. I'm sitting in a truck right now. Maybe I'm in the perfect occupation because I get to do a lot of inner reflection when I drive, and I get to see many things. I've seen a lot of things that defy explanation too. All right, the Chariot's card of progress is a card of progress and triumph. It represents alignment of action in the outer material world with the inner. I've already talked about that, haven't I? And I didn't even read the definition. My soul just guided me to talk about it. You can do this for yourself, by the way. Don't rely on readers. I mean, you can start with readers, but then start doing it on your own as well. Do it like I'm doing it. I'm trying to show you a way to so that you can be a connected person. You can be if you wanted to be a reader, you could, but it's better to work on yourself on an ascension path. Raise your frequency. If you're going to try to help others, you got to help yourself first. You got to get into the higher frequencies. Strength. Okay, that's got to be my favorite, because I'm Hercules, and a divine quality of the blue ray is strength. But my thing is inner strength. Okay. For instance, if I want to do a decree and I want to strengthen it, what do? I pick my energy up. I get more enthusiastic like I am right now. I put that energy into the decree. It, the purity of intent behind the decree is key, but then I put my strength into it. Remember that like first commandment, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, strength, mind, and soul? You got to put your strength into it to to really move it, to really own it, to own that quality. Now let's see what the major are, what they keywords they're talking about here on this card. The strength card is instincts, inner strength. Okay, I just talked about that. Courage, passion, compassion. Okay, courage is simply um, overcoming fear. It's not the absence of fear; it's how you deal with it. And fear is just an opposite quality of love. Anything could be fear. Greed could be fear. Blame could be fear. Any negative quality can be labeled as fear. And and courage is just the process of overcoming. Being fearless is a part of courage. That fearlessness flame, you're able to confront the injustice and and be the strength there in transmuting it. Passion, compassion. I've talked about passion. Compassion is the love frequency, the pink plume of the threefold flame in your heart. Threefold flame in your heart is the representation of divine love. It's a balanced love balanced with wisdom, which then leads to power. So that's key right there. Balance, then that power is not controlling, domineering. It doesn't take from others. Instead, it gives. And in the giving, you receive, which is the part of the law of supply. If you really want to increase the prosperity in your life, you got to give more. Okay, strength is a card about the integration of our heart, intellect, and our animal self. So I disagree with that. Intellect is of the human, of the human mind, the outer knowledge. And they rate you in terms of IQ, but the divine IQ is much different. It's a genius frequency that comes through the heart. I'm in that frequency right now. I'm not boasting about it. I'm just saying that I'm in this flow right now where I can talk about everything as a soul. That's the genius frequency. That's divine intelligence right there acting through my human form. And you all can do that too. I try to empower you in my videos on how to do that. Rather than suppressing our animal nature or giving into our drives and desires completely, this card is about using the best of our civilized and primal selves in tandem. Okay, to me that's not true, because to me that's a Luciferian example, and where they justify um, using the light and dark part of you together, like in Star Wars, the Jedi Master Windu, he was able to channel both the dark and the light to become the best lightsaber duelist. And and that's the Luciferian concept right there. It's put into literature. It's put into movies. The whole Star Wars franchise is about that. The the dyad in the Force, where the Emperor is, he starts drain. He's dying, but he starts draining the the light Jedi Rey and her, and then Solo's Han Solo's son. He starts draining them, him too, and he's gonna get his power back that way. That's a perversion of the cosmic twins. The cosmic twins represent Mother, Father, One, Creator. They're actually two Elohim, Hercules and Victoria, who are attracted to each other, drawn to each other. So two of the Elohim always work in concert. The blue ray is always utilized with the violet ray. They work in concert. They have all the creative power of one, of Father, Mother, One, and One itself. So that's a perfect example of of someone in Hollywood who are trying to cloud over a divine truth. They're trying to use this idea of a dyad in the force, of a light and dark battle, and they're trying to relate it that these people are special, um, and but really it's more of a Luciferian thing. That's not what the cosmic twins are about. Cosmic twins are just representative of creation, and that creative power, creative ability, and they represent the mother father principle. Okay, the divine feminine and the divine male, who work in concert with each other. The divine male may tear down something, and then the divine female builds it back up through healing. Tear down the old construct and then rebuild the new. The divine male may be still, but the divine female moves. So they always work in tandem with each other. And cosmic twins are no exception. So do not follow the Star Wars thing where you're going to use the dark and the light, or you'll have people like Kobe Bryant putting out their mastery videos online for children where they're trying to teach them to use the dark part of themselves and the light part of themselves. That was a Luciferian concept, and that was perfect example of why Kobe Bryant. Uh, one of the things that showed he was a dark player in the Illuminati system, and that and of course his molesting his 13-year-old stepdaughter or half daughter was not did not put him in a favorable light either, and it was obvious he was doing that uh, from what you could read in the media. But he was taken out, wasn't he? Maybe his contract, his blood contract expired, or he wasn't doing enough damage or he wasn't sacrificing enough individual family members, or he didn't get the sex change he was supposed to get. I mean, all kinds of things could have contributed to his death. But the point is, I'm making here about this is that do not follow. I would not recommend following this Luciferian path where dark and light are equal, and you should work with them together, and that's an enlightened way of being that leads to enlightenment, fulfillment, illuminate. I'm sorry, I'll use their term, illumination. Get it? Illumination, Illuminati. That don't follow that path. It's a path to nowhere, and all it does is lead to soul damage, and you don't want that because you want your soul to be repairable, so you don't have to start over. So that's a prime example of why these cards just focus in on a couple of key words. Do not take all these cards as literal, and your own soul's going to know if this is a wrong interpretation or an interpretation that shouldn't be shared with someone you're trying to help if you're reading these cards. But help yourself before you help others so you get to that higher place where you can be more effective in helping others. That's what I always recommend. You're going to need the strength to do it. Strength gives you fortitude, stamina to keep going. That's my big takeaway from this card. The strength part of creation. If there's something that's positive, constructive going on, you can amplify it through strength. I can change my delivery and make myself more enthusiastic and strengthen what I'm delivering. See how the energy picked up? That's an example of strength. Okay, it's about an hour and 46 minutes. And listen, if you're a reader out there and you're trying to help people, I see people like going on doing readings for several hours, and I see them being drained. I see that they're not doing well energetically. Check in with yourself and stop your reading for a while. Go ground to the earth. Um, Eat some food. Do something else. Go hug a tree and send energy to it. Do something else, okay? Little recreation. Um, get out of that apartment you're in or the confined space you're in. Go breathe some air. Um, do something different and stop your reading. Get yourself back in the high vibration, then come back and do your readings. If you find yourself in a low point energetically, your reading's not that helpful. And it becomes more of a gimmick, becomes more of a money-making gimmick rather than you're helping someone. Remember, you want your readings to align with your intent, with your purity of intent. You may have started out with purity of intent when you started the readings, but your energy reached a low point. You're no longer in that frequency, and your readings, you're going to be less connected. You're going to be more likely to bring in psychic, human mass consciousness information rather than information from your soul. So stop your readings and then reset. Come back later. Like right now, I feel my energy waning, like in my form, my physical form, which tells me that I need to stop, which is why I'm stopping at an hour and 48 minutes. No one has come into my stream, but that's okay because I'm communicating with the human mass consciousness right now, and I know I'm having an effect on it because I can feel the energy in my form, in my human form, what it's doing. I'm sensitive to that. So your sensitivity will increase the more connected to your soul that you are. Which I should talk about real quick is that you can feel like you're overwhelmed from external forces, okay, like external psychic stuff and all that. What I recommend is that just remember that there is divine energy. Surrender to it, okay? Surrender to that. If you're being attacked by somebody, they have a divine spark in them. Surrender to that. Surrender to their soul, their I am presence, because that part of them is pure. And then you're surrendering to the God within, the God in action that they are. That person will stop attacking you. They'll get madder and madder and madder and end up attacking themselves because they'll have no target, and then they'll stop. So that is the best way to deal with attacks. And if you feel like you're being psychically attacked from many, many things, surrender to your soul. Surrender to it. Surrender to the God within. I could say surrender to Creator, but people tend to externalize Creator as something outside themselves, and that's just not the way it is. Creator is omnipresent, but your connection to Creator is through your soul, through your heart center. So go within your heart center to connect. It'll be a much more powerful experience for you. Visualize your soul fully seated in you, and you're connecting with that which is within you, within your heart. That's the key to higher dimensions. Surrender to it puts you in unity consciousness. Surrendering to your soul puts you in unity consciousness, puts you into that seventh dimensional frequency, which is beyond polarity. And you can go there to get that break that you need. Anyways, I'm going to end my stream, and I'll come on at another point when I'm feeling better, and maybe I'll actually have someone enter my stream. That's it. So bye for now.